Yes guys, I'm back. I'm back with another one, and I'm going to be looking at BTC today, see what's going on, having a look at these candles here. I've also got some interesting charts for you to look at that I've not really looked at, much. So I'm going to go through them as well, see where we can go with altcoins, see what's going on. And total 3, ETH BTC, and just generally having a little scan over the market. So yeah, let's get straight into it, guys. So I'm on BTC chart, having a little look, see what's going on, see where we're at. And what we're looking at last week, I think it was, is that, getting accepted below this value area here. Let me just turn these off right quickly. So you're getting below this value area here is a significant point for BTC. You're going to have a lot of the sausages out there saying, oh, BTC's broke out. Well, me looking at this chart here, this is my opinion. How is this here a breakout in BTC? Just generally looking at it, how is that a breakout? If we're doing a trend line across here, like this, I personally think we could end up doing something like this and then rejecting again, in my personal opinion. Or we come above it, test value area again, and then come to the point of control at around 103, 104k, and then we could rally again. But as of now, with BTC, we are in a range. Stop listening to all the sausages. They just want their bags pumping, whereas I'm here trying to keep you level-headed, just to show you that there's no trade at the minute in BTC. We are in a range, a massive range that we're in here. This is the range low. This is the range high. We're in a range. And yeah, if you're day trading, quick scalps in and out, bam, 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 make little bits of money here and there. But as of now, where are we? And also what you've got to look at is the actual cycle that we've been in and how long this cycle has gone on for. Not a lot of people are looking at it. So if we're saying the cycle started here in 23, we are now in 25, okay? So if we go from the cycle bottom in 23 January and we go to where we are now, that's 767 days cycle. So what we're looking at there, about 2.5 years, nearly 3 years this cycle so far. Going back and having a look at the previous cycles, so say November 20 or 21, say the cycle started, we'll go 20, say the cycle started in 20 here. And that cycle topped after 300, just a year. We're already nearly 3 years into this one cycle, which is a completely different cycle to what we've seen before. So you've got to stay level-headed in this market. There's a lot of FUD around the crypto market at the minute due to, obviously, Trump getting brought into power. He's a crypto president and all this. You just need to stay level-headed. I'm just going to have a drink. You need to stay level-headed in this market, because the bleed here from there to there was around a year and a half. If we've been in this cycle nearly 3 years and we start to bleed, how long do you think this bleed's going to go on for? if that's already nearly 3 years, that bleed was around a year and a half. The big push up was around a year. So how long's the bleed going to last for this time? Because if that's a year, that bleed was a year and a half. That's nearly 3 years, 2.5, 3 years. So how long's the bleed going to continue? If we say, if we're going off this, it's a half a year more than the actual pump. So 2.5 years, say 3 years we bleed for now. From the top. Say we bleed for 3 years. Let me just get this. Say if we bleed for 3 years, that takes us what? To around, well, ain't even any data, but 3 years from now to around 2028. That will be the bleed until 2028. Nobody's looking at this. All they're looking at is, oh, pump my altcoins, pump my bags, blah blah blah. They don't realise that what could actually be happening behind closed doors. You know, the 3 year bleed, and then we have 1 year of an absolute ginormous pump before Trump comes out of power, or he gets re-voted back in. He can then be like, well, look what I did. So you've got to stay level-headed in this market at the minute. So I've got another chart for you here, and this is others BTC. So this is combined. You know, I think it's excluding the top 100 altcoins compared to BTC. So if we look at the bleed from 18 here to the bottom, that's around 469 days, so about a year and a half. The move up from the bottom to the top, it happened really quick, about a year. This time round, alts are getting absolutely smashed compared to BTC. And we've already been bleeding in alts nearly 1,113 days. And not a lot of people are looking at that. So if we go to the total 3 minus USDT divided by Bitcoin, and we have another little look at that, you can clearly see here we are just continuously bleeding out and could potentially drop into this low, the range low, before we have any sort of push in altcoins. So, you know, you could be looking at something like this, and this could take a long time before we get into this range low, before any sort of push up in alts. Just same again, measuring from the bottom to the top. You know, you're looking at a year. So me going off of that, and we bleed for 3 years now, and then we pump for a year, you know, and we do a yearly pump and we come back to the range highs, yeah, altcoins will rally. But until that, we can't really say much, because at the minute, altcoins are just continuously bleeding against BTC. There's another chart here where you can see, you know, having a little look at this from the lows to the highs. This is ETH BTC, and it looks like ETH has had a rally, but in effect, has it had a rally? It seems to have come to a standstill here at the minute. And if we bleed again from here down, you know, 3 years could see us come back to these range lows before we rally again. Like I've said before, you need to position yourself in bear markets. Buying halfway through bull markets is not good for your portfolio. You need to keep level-headed with this. And a lot of it is to do with, quant tightening. I'll shorten it because I can't say the word. It's a bit of a long word. So until the Fed ends this here, this tightening, quantitative tightening, until they end this, we can't see no rally. Going back into others again, look here. Same here. Once they started to end it, then we had the rally. At the minute, we're not ending it. We need to see it end. Not a lot of people are talking about that. You know, we want to see it come down here and end and start to do this. This could then turn this market and then we have a rally. Until then, personally, in my opinion, there's no alt season that's going to occur. And all they're doing is, they're just doing exactly the same as what they did here. If you look here and look here, it looks different, but it's very, very similar. And if you have a little look at these tops, when it started to come down, once it starts to move back up and they ease it, we get the rallies. At the minute, they're not easing it. So we're not going to have the major rallies, what you actually want. You know, and it's like, from here to here. Last week, they're putting new lows. That's others. Most altcoins putting new lows. So it wouldn't surprise me if we do come down to test the range lows in these altcoins. And then we can start to load up. But until then, I can't really see any future for the altcoins in the near time. So just be careful with what we're actually doing. Like I said, just watch these range lows in the alts before we start to push on. You know, at the minute, what you can see is it's lasted a lot longer, this bleed, because most of the degens are not giving up. They don't want to give up in this market. And until they give up, you know, like possibly here, if we have a little look at this here, we had something very similar. The degens probably gave up here, you know, and then all of a sudden we started to get the rally, and then they all came back in here, had a little push, and are probably still holding their altcoins and have been absolutely wrecked. This market's about, you know, making money and not losing money. If you're up, I don't know, say you're up, just we'll measure it from here to here. You know, you're up 500%. Why are you holding? What's stopping you taking that profit? You're up 500%. Say you put £1,000 in your portfolio, you're up £5,000. Take your profit. Take your £4,000, leave your £1,000 in. You've not lost out. You've gained it. This is what you've got to think about when trading these markets. You know, like I say, we need to try and stay level-headed as much as we can. You know, everybody's been saying this cycle's different. This cycle is different because this cycle is about Bitcoin. It's about BTC. This cycle is not about altcoins. And until we start to ease in this tightening, it's not going to be about altcoins. It's the same as, you know, like I said, the alt season, if we do get a small alt season, it will be quick. It will be really short. It will be bam up, get out of the market, and then wait. So we need to see this easing. We need to see this coming down further and further. This start to break. This start to go, you know, and that's what we're looking at in the market. Until then, hold on, wait. You know, these are probably the times when you get down to these range lows, start to load up on your altcoins. For now, I'd be very cautious with what we're doing. It's also the same with, like, you know, the retail investor. They've lost a lot of interest. They're not interested in altcoins. All the hype is around BTC, BTC, BTC. You know, and I agree with it. The hype is around BTC. It's not around ETH. It's not around any other coins. It's around BTC because it's the FUD's out there. And we had this previously in another cycle. We had the FUD in BTC. We had this FUD. And we started having this FUD around here. People starting getting back into the market. And it gave them a chance. You know, they've bought BTC there and it's lost 50% of its value. It gave them the chance to get back out there. So a lot probably did. They probably thought, shit, I bought here. I'm up slightly. Get out the market. And then, without thinking, oh, is this the range low? Instead of buying BTC here, they've all started buying BTC up here. And that's going to cause the same effect again. You know, we've had a top, a double top, bam. We've had a top, a double top, and we've started to bleed again. You know, our retail coming back, I don't know. It's like the YouTube views. Looking at the YouTube views at the minute, there's not a lot of, you know, new people coming to the YouTube views. If you look online, I think BTC is probably the most searched thing at the minute. And that could really cause it, you know, the market to push again. But we are going to have a drop. And altcoins are not really something that people are wanting. They want BTC. That's all they want is BTC. So just be careful with what altcoins you're buying. Like I say, these cycles might last a little bit, you know, shorter. And, you know, like that little bit of news that just come up then, you know, it's... You've also got to think of your miners in this sort of thing. The selling pressure that's coming into BTC at the minute is mega. It's mega. And that's where people are thinking, where can I put my money where it's safer? That's where you can put your money where it's safer. Gold. But and I'm not saying gold's just going to keep going up. Because it's not just going to keep going up. But what you've got to think is, this is a safe asset. Silver, safe asset. Oil's probably not a safe asset because it could go either way. The S&P 500, safe asset. They're moving the money over now. You know, like I pointed out in another video, I think it was last week. You know, from your range low and you're up, you've bought BTC here and you're up nearly 600%. You're really going to hold out for 9 or 10 more percent, aren't you? No, big investors are like, no. Why would I hold out for that when I've made that? You've got to think of this. And a lot of investors, even if the investor has bought here, they're still up 90%. And a lot of people are like, well, that's not a lot. But this is why you should have bought at the range low in the bear. Instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to buy midpoint of a bull. And then not expect BTC to come back down at some point. All markets come back down. And I'm not saying it's just going to ultimately crash. But from this move here, you know, this is what BTC does. It has 50% crashes in the market. And a 50% crash would bring it back down into here. I'm not saying it's going to go up 52. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is you need to stay level-headed and realise at some point BTC is going to start to move back down. And this is where you want to, you know, start to a DCA sort of thing with BTC, which I'll be doing. You know, I'll DCA here. I'll probably DCA the gap that was created around here. If we come a little bit lower, I'll DCA again. Come a little bit lower, I'll DCA again. And I'll keep DCAing. And then when we do have another rally, and you know, overall, I think BTC at some point will probably go up to 200k, 300k. But I will keep DCAing, and then your average buy, a bit like what Sailor were doing, your average buy is lower than where the actual price is. And then you can think, shall I take some profits? We've also got Sailor at the minute. He's not buying. But if we go MicroStrategy. So if we have a look at MicroStrategy and where MicroStrategy is, MicroStrategy is bleeding. So he's saying to you, you know, I'm buying BTC. That's what Sailor's saying. I'm buying BTC. You buy BTC. But in the same context, his company is bleeding. Nobody's interested in his company. It's actually bleeding. And I'm not saying it's gonna, but from that push there, we could see MicroStrategy come back down to here. Will that then force Sailor to then start selling some of his Bitcoin? Because if you look at it like this, you're a massive company like this, MicroStrategy, okay? You're investing in Bitcoin. It's not your money, it's debt that you are creating to buy Bitcoin in the hope that Bitcoin continues to rally, okay? If Bitcoin decides to take a shit and comes down to these, what's he going to do then? Because most of his investors are then going to be underwater. And they're going to be at him. And be like, what's going on? You know, what's going on with MicroStrategy? Or strategy with a Bitcoin sign, whatever he's called it now. This is what you've got to think. He's on hopium that Bitcoin continues to go. If Bitcoin starts to bleed, most of these players that are in the game, you know, most of these countries that are creating a Bitcoin reserve and things like that, if Bitcoin starts to bleed, what they're going to do then? Don't get me wrong, they've probably got reserves of gold and silver and platinum and all this as well, so that, you know, they'll probably wait for it to rally back up. But in my personal opinion, buying Bitcoin here, I think El Salvador bought Bitcoin there. Around there. And it dropped 13%. So imagine what they were thinking when it dropped 13%. I bet they thought, shit, is Bitcoin something that we really want to be creating a reserve for? America will do the same. They're here to make money. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They're here to make money. All this FUD around it at the minute is not good. So, you know, we've just got to be careful with what's going on in the market at the minute. It's like Total 3. A lot of these sausages out there were like, oh, Total 3's breaking out. Blah, blah, blah. And it topped. It topped, and dropped. So, you know, just be very careful with what you're doing at the minute in these markets, because it could even drop back into this zone here. And that, like I said, Bitcoin is most of these market caps out there that has made the market cap go up. And if you look here, we've had something very similar before. If you look at the volume in this, we've had something very similar before it did eventually take a massive shit. And altcoins along the way are going to get wrecked and come to the lows. So if we look at like a coin like Band, look at where Band is. And this is alt season. So if we look at Band, it's at the lows. It's at the range lows. There's nothing stopping it continuing to bleed though. What we're going to do when coins are down here and we've started buying here, you know, we're all hoping for a rally. It's one of them things. I think 90% of coins, they're at the range lows. They're literally at the range lows at the minute. You know, quick in and out trades, that's what you want. Because at the minute, looking at it, there's no real... Go on to ETH BTC at the minute. Let's have a look at this. Look at ETH BTC. Look at it, it's absolutely getting wrecked. Because people have lost interest. And I can see ETH BTC coming to these lows again. You know, that trend line, we can move that trend line with it. You know, and we start to get a little pop back up and a breakout here. And that will take us to 2028. So just be very wary. If I were an investor personally, I would just be DCAing in Bitcoin. And I'd leave all the other shit behind. Because it is shit. Most coins are a pile of crap. And then you've, like I say, you've got all the degens. You've got all your sausages. Crypto sausage and crypto crapo and all these other people that are like, oh, Ethereum's breaking out. Well, it won't. It won't breaking out. You bought Ethereum and now you look like a tool. Just like here. In Ethereum. You bought ETH. Where was it? It's going on at daily. Just having a little look here. That there was an absolute fantastic, classic fake out. Classic. You there, you're the guy that's bought ETH here. Because it's broke out. You're the guy that bought ETH there, yeah? And you were down 30% instantly. Within what? 1, 2, 3 days. You were instantly down 30%. All because you didn't wait for it to show you that it wanted to stay up there. Because you couldn't wait. Because all these sausages on Twitter and on Discord and wherever else that you're following them on said, oh yeah, it's definitely breaking out. Buy ETH here. Buy ETH there. Buy ETH, buy ETH, buy ETH. And now you're down 30%. And you can't blame them guys. There's only one person to blame, and that's yourself for being the fool to actually listen to these fools. You know, they say, fool me once. You know, that's me. That's on me. Fool me twice. You know, I'm a bit of a sausage then, aren't I? So just be careful with what you're trading, that's all I'm saying. What else have we got? BTC dominance. Dominance doing something similar. You know, everybody thought BTC dominance were breaking down. And yeah, I can see why. I can actually see why. Because, you know, if you've got your trend line in here and you can see that that's, you know, breaking down there, you think, yeah, you know, alt season, here we go. And it's soon reclaimed, and then alt's got smashed again. Big time. USDT dominance. I could see what everybody was saying in USDT dominance. I could really see it. I understood it. I really did understand it, because even I was saying, if we can get a breakdown here, but these wicks here are telling you a story. These are telling you the story of what's going on. And we've got the same what's happening up above us here as well. These wicks are telling you the story of what's going on. And like I say, it really wouldn't surprise me if USDT dominance starts to come back to these highs. Because if you look across here, this area here is a supporting area and it's been a supporting area 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And it's been hit 7 times. And then we've also got this zone up here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then it broke down. So, like I said, just be careful with what's going on in the market at the minute. There's a lot of FUD around it. Look after your money. This game's about looking after your money and ultimately not losing money. Yeah, gaining money is nice. And yeah, because we all like money. But it's also about not losing money as well at the same time. So just be careful with what you're doing out there, guys. I'm going to get off now. Don't forget, I've got links for CWP, Buy Me a Coffee, Slim's Bots, James's Baccarat Indicators. Might have a little bit more news on James in the upcoming weeks, and I will be the first one to get it onto my channel for him to help him out. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. I'm getting out of here, and I will catch you in the next one. Happy trading.